Okay, now this is the part number 2 of exercise 4. This corresponds to step number 5. Locate a potentiometer. What is that? Well, that is the thing that's sitting right in front of you. Now, it's sort of a weird name, potentiometer, because usually meters mean you measure something. It harks back to a very old time, like hundreds of years ago. They made up these names. But potentiometer is another name for a variable resistor. I usually call it a variable resistor because a potentiometer, it's like saying a voltmeter. This is not really a voltmeter, it's a variable resistor. Unfortunately, though, the name kind of stuck. So let's see what this little thing does. It's got 3 leads on it. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to recognize. And if you look at the top, it's got, I don't know. What is that thing? It looks like you can put a screwdriver in there. Now, what you normally do is place a knob on top of this and screw it in tight. And then when you have the knob, you can move this thing. Because what this is, you can move this around. It's like moving around a knob. I guess what that cylinder is for. I don't have the knobs on this one, so I actually physically move the knob around. So let's talk about what these 3 leads are. So a variable resistor has a total resistance across both the leads is steady. Now, if you want a variable resistance, you can either take the middle to the right or the middle to the left. You can actually use it for 2 circuits at the same time, but we're going to use it for 1 circuit. So let's actually figure out the first couple of steps, it says, is measuring the total resistance across the whole potentiometer. So it tells you to put the leads on the outer 2, what are those things called? Connections. So let's see. Do you see how there's 3 of them? I only attached my voltage leads to the outer 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my voltmeter and see the VC to see how many, oh wait, I'm measuring ohmage, sorry. You want to measure the ohms. Okay, so see if you can figure this out. It's 1.329. Does that mean it's 1.329 ohms? Okay, look carefully. What does that say? That's K ohm. So you got to multiply whatever this is by 1,000. So it's not 0.329 ohms. It's 1,329 ohms. So this particular potentiometer across the biggest resistance it can have is 1,329 ohms. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is attach one of these to the middle one. Let's just pick this one. Now we see it's a little less. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this around while you watch the voltmeter. Okay, so I've got it all the way counterclockwise. Now I'm going to move it all the way clockwise. All right, so now on your data table, what we're going to do is fill in the range. Just go down. So we've got potentiometer. Go down to the potentiometer circuit. It says total resistance across the whole potentiometer. So that was the thing we just did before. Now, does the resistance change if you measure across the leads and move the knob? No, I didn't try that, but. Now the resistance range. So this is the lower range. 1.9 ohms is the lowest range. So you write down 1.9 ohms and then 2. Then what I'm going to do is move it all the way counterclockwise. Okay. So that's the higher ends, 1,329. So write that range down. You already wrote down the lower limit. This is the upper limit. Because what we're going to do is you're going to calculate the lower limit voltage and the upper limit voltage using the same equation you used in the first part of this exercise. Okay, so now we did that. What I'm going to do is proceed circuit. So I'm going to set my little iPad up here. So here's my 2 parallel resistors left over from the previous, the first part of exercise number 4. So now that we've got the range, we're going to replace R2 with the potentiometer. Now, yes, this potentiometer is 1,329, so it's a little more than 1K, but this is rated as a 1K. Sometimes these potentiometers go a little bit higher than what they're supposed to. So how am I going to do that? This this isn't going to stick in these holes, is there? So unfortunately, I'm going to have to use some patch cords on this. Blurry. I don't know why this is blurry. So I'm going to take out R2, which is this one. Oops, I should shut down my power supply. All right, so here I have R1. I'm not sure why it's blurry. I'm trying to figure out. It's a little better now. Then what I'm going to do is connect this lead to one end of here, and then the middle one to the power supply. So all I want to do is go across these two. If I go across the entire one, then I'm going to have a fixed resistance. To get a variable resistor, you have to use the middle and one of the ends. So I'm just going to, since I use these two, I'm going to use these two right now. So I'm going to do is run a patch cord from here to here, and then another patch cord from here to the other end of the power supply. And that I will have in series. So I've got my power supply ready all here. So there's the middle one. Now all I have to do is run that one more patch cord. I'm going to put it up here because I got to get another patch cord here. Patch cord's coming out my ear. Alrighty. So I've got the end of this, and then I have to attach this to this one. Now you just have to make sure that you don't get any electrical connections. Make sure they're not like touching each other, these patch cords, like that. So I've got